All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 1:30 Lunch and Learn today. I'm Caitlyn, for anyone who doesn't know me, and we're going to be talking a little bit about pelvic and trunk mobility, and as it kind of relates to bowel health, because that's the theme for this week. The nice thing is it's not really just going to affect like how you're able to go to the bathroom, but really it's good for just loosening up if you've been sitting in a chair all day or not moving around as much as you normally do. So what we're going to do, first thing is I want everyone to try just doing a squat and trying to squat as deep as they possibly can, like just squatting down and just seeing how it feels. So I'll do the same, trying to keep your heels on the ground and just squat down and just see how that feels and kind of see, okay, where is there tightness? Is there limitations keeping you from going all the way down? Do you end up onto your toes, kind of like I do? Do you feel like you have to round your back all the way to get all the way down and then you're just kind of in a position like this? Or can you get up into a position there and just play around with that? Kind of see where do things feel tight? Where do things feel good, maybe bad? And we'll go from there. So kind of remember that feeling, and we'll just dive right into a couple things. So you're going to start off sitting in the chair. And you can sit on the floor if you don't have a chair. It's just a little bit easier in the chair to begin with. And what you're going to do is kind of like the yoga pose cat-camel. You're going to move through that, but sitting in the chair. So if you put your hands on your hips, you can kind of flex down like this, and then arch your back up like that. And so from the side, it's rolling back and rolling forward. And you'll go back and forth like that. We'll go for another, probably like 10 seconds. Back and forth. And we'll do one more cycle there. So one more down. And one more up, and then pause in the middle. Now what I want you to try is just moving your pelvis and not moving your ribcage. So with the cat-cow, we're moving everything. Now I want you to keep your ribcage still and just move your pelvis forward and backwards. And what that's going to do, you'll notice that it gives you a little more arch in the back when you roll forward and a little bit of flattening of that curve when you roll backwards. And so I want you to go through that motion. I like to put my hands on my rib cage just to make sure it's not moving. And so rolling forward, rolling backward. And go as slow as you can so you're not just moving through any barriers or end ranges. And we'll go back and forth just one more time. Good. And now I want you to think about when you settle from doing that motion, where do you feel like your weight is? Do you feel like it's kind of in the center of that range or somewhere kind of closer to the forward end or the backward end? So you can go all the way to the extreme forward, all the way to the extreme backwards, and then find that middle ground. And it might feel like you're probably on those sit bones, the bones at the bottom of your pelvis. And that's good. That's where I want you to stay. Now, keep your pelvis in that position, that middle ground position. And now we're going to do the same thing, but you're going to move your rib cage and not your pelvis. So again, I'm going to put my hands on my pelvis, on my hips, so that I can make sure it's not moving. And I'm going to move my rib cage so I could go up and down from the side. Keep my pelvis still, up and down. So you'll go back and forth with that. We'll go through a couple reps of this. Up, down. Making sure that your pelvis is staying in that neutral middle ground position. Good. And now, just like we did for the pelvis, I want you to go to the two extremes, so all the way up and then all the way down, and then see if you could get somewhere in the middle. So unlike the pelvis, it's a little bit hard because you can't quite feel like, oh yeah, I'm sitting on a certain bony prominence. With this, what I want you to think about is your sternum or your breastbone right in the center of your chest. That should be parallel with the wall in front of you, or I guess perpendicular with the floor, so making a 90-degree angle there. So if I, from the side, if I put my hand right on the center of my breastbone here, my hand is pointing straight out to the wall, versus if I was up like this, now it's kind of pointing up to the ceiling, or down, now it's pointing down to the floor. So you want to end up somewhere in the middle there with your rib cage right over your pelvis. Okay. So now that we worked a little bit on just bringing some awareness to the rib cage and the pelvis, and also getting yourself in a better alignment, we're gonna do a couple different exercises to loosen some things up, hamstrings, and some foot and ankle mobility as well. So first thing we'll look at is utilizing your quads to help give you range of motion in your hamstrings. So I'll show you first and then I'll have you try it. You're going to straighten out one leg and you're going to try to lift your leg up off the ground with it straight without moving anything in your pelvis or your rib cage. So from the side, do it this way so I don't kick anything. Your leg is straight, you're staying still here, and you're just lifting up as much as you can without rotating or moving here. So if I was going like that, that's not really the point of this exercise. If you find that you really can't lift your leg up very much at all without moving around, scoot forward to the front of the chair so you're like just about to fall off, so sit bones are right on the edge. You're going to straighten your leg out and just lift from there. So now I'm below parallel, but I'm still getting some of the work in there. So we're going to try to do that 5 times on each side. And do it slow, so don't quickly swing your leg back and forth. You're moving with purpose. Trying to stay stable and steady in the upper body and the pelvis, making sure your spine is moving. Good. Once you've completed that, we're going to do a little hamstring stretching. So I'm going to have you come down. You're going to put your elbows and your forearms on the top of your thigh. Make sure that your foot is underneath your knee. And what you're going to do now is you're going to shift your weight forward onto your feet. And as you drop your head down, you're going to lift your butt up, keeping your elbows always on your thighs. So like that, and then back down. So from the side, it's here, dropping your head down, and your butt goes up. There, and back down. You should feel a pretty good stretch in the back of your hamstrings. And I want you to do this 10 times. So as you go up, you could hold it at the end for a second or two, and then go back down. And once you've done that 10 times, come and stand up. And we'll use the chair again. This time, I'm just going to rotate so you can see me better, but I want you to put that chair up against something so that it's not moving around. And you're going to take one foot. I'll start with my right leg. So I have my right foot up on the chair. And what I'm going to do, still thinking about keeping my rib cage over my pelvis, I'm going to make sure my left foot stays on the ground, the heel too. I'm going to squeeze my quad, the front of the thigh. I'm going to squeeze my glute, my butt. And then I'm going to start to shift my weight forward onto that right foot. Now it's okay that my knee is going past my toe. That's fine, your knee will be okay. And right now I'm feeling a good stretch in the front of my left leg and a little bit of stretch in my right leg, a little in the Achilles area and a little bit in the hip. We're gonna hold this. Now, if anything hurts, of course, back off. You don't want to hurt yourself just trying to stretch out. We'll hold this for a little bit more. Make sure you're breathing as well. And now I'm going to have you think about pushing your foot through the chair to come back to upright standing. So shifting your weight back onto that left leg. And we're going to go forward and backwards 5 times. So I'm shifting my weight onto my right foot. And now I'm pushing my right foot through the chair to shift my weight back onto my left leg. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So now step back down and you're just going to switch the feet. So now I'm putting my left leg up. Same thing again. I'm making sure my right heel is on the ground. I'm squeezing my right quad and I'm squeezing my right glute. And I'm going to shift my weight forward onto my left leg and just hold it there for a little bit. So now I feel pretty good stretch in the front of my right leg. And as I shift a little bit further forward, a little bit more stretch in my Achilles area on the left. If you need to hold onto the wall or the top of the chair, anything for balance, feel free. We'll hold it here for a little bit and then we're going to do some back and forth. All right, so now you're going to push that left foot through that chair to shift your weight back onto the right leg. And then we're going to shift forward. So we'll do this 5 times. And 5. All right, good. So once you've done 5, you can come back to standing. And now, our final little mobility exercise that we'll do before we kind of recheck that deep squat is going to be a deep squat, but with a little bit of a modification. So I'm using my door frame here. I feel pretty confident that it's not going to come down if I'm putting my weight through it. So I'm going to grab onto the door frame. I'm making a little cup in my hands here so I could grab on. And I'm going to have a lot of my weight through my upper body. And I'm going to try to squat down as low as I can. So now when I'm here, move this down so you can see my feet. I'm going to try to shift my weight side to side. And you could even work on, like we did in the beginning, trying to roll your pelvis backwards and forwards. And just seeing when you do those 2 extreme motions, where are things tight, what feels good, what doesn't feel as good, and trying to just play around with that motion. So we'll hang out here just for another 10, 15 seconds. Make sure you're breathing too. Don't just hold your breath. Good. And then when you want to come back up, you could either just come straight back up by pushing your legs through the ground, or you could use your arms to help you up a little bit. Good. And now that you're back to regular standing, I want you just to try doing a regular deep squat again, just like you did at the beginning. And as you do that, compare to what it felt like just, I don't know, 14 minutes ago. Is it any looser? Does it feel any easier to get down? Maybe there's different things that are tight now. Good. And you can come back up. So the whole point of looking at deep squat is it tells us a lot about spinal, hip, and pelvis mobility, which are all important things for going to the bathroom, but then also for everyday life. So always a good thing to look at. If anyone has any questions, call them out now. You could always email me. But you could get my contact info from our website. Yeah. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Great job, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Welcome. All right. Cool.
Way to go, Kate.
Thanks.